Shalom, shalom, man. Want to start by giving all praises, glory, and honor be to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is your brothers from the Hopeful Elect, man. Brother Isaiah with the brother Obadiah, Azrael, and Denal, coming at you with another Soul Food Sunday lesson. And today's topic is romance, right? Romance. So, before we get into the lesson, right? Before we get into the lesson, let me pull up, what we got to do, pull up the blowing of the shofar. And from there, man, we can go ahead and get into this word. So I'm going to just pause this real quick. Go back, share screen. Shofar. Let me make sure all the volume is up. Con, we good. All right, let's play this. Man, that was the blowing of the shofar. And again, we want to give all glory and honor, praise to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So, again, today's topic, romance. Now, it's not even right? You can kind of guess uh, what the topic may go into just based on the title itself, right? But it's always a method to the madness with the brothers on the screen. We don't want to do nothing just based off of spare the moment. A lot of things that we bring forward, there's a lot of thought that goes into it. So through the spirit, man, most high willing, you're edified if you view this live. Shalom if you're tuning in live. If you're not tuning in live and you're watching the playback, shalom. Peace be unto you and your household as well. Through the spirit, though, we want to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to share my screen because I got a good video to share with y'all. And this is going to be a video that I think that y'all are going to want to see again and again and again. Before any of that, fair use. Before we play this video, I want to say fair use. We reserve the right to use this information for educational purposes, to teach, instruct, inform our people. This is not for monetary gain, and we do not own the rights to this content. All right, so fair use. But let's play this video. Put a thumbs up if y'all on the screen, if y'all can hear me.
He's amazing emotionally, physically. Earlier this year, I had to have 2 brain surgeries.
So, context, before we just play the video through, this woman is talking about her man, right? She's talking about her man. She said he's amazing emotionally, physically, right? Let's play it over. Let's play it over. The context is her man. She's talking about her man.
He's amazing emotionally, physically. Earlier this year, I had to have 2 brain surgeries. He stayed with me in the hospitals. He even washed my butt some of the times. But he wasn't working for a couple of months, and I'm 24 now. So I basically feel like I'm just real grown.
So what's your question?
Basically, like, we haven't been out on any dates or anything recently. How long do I wait before I feel appreciated? He's amazing.
So, as you can see, right, by the reaction to her question, a lot of sometimes, man, you just can't make this stuff up. But because the video was so good, we're gonna play it a second time. We're gonna play it a second time. I just want y'all to get what she's saying. This is all in context to her man, right?
He's amazing emotionally, physically. Earlier this year, I had to have 2 brain surgeries. He stayed with me in the hospitals. He even washed my butt some of the times. But he wasn't working for a couple of months, and I'm 24 now. So I basically feel like I'm just real grown.
So what's your question?
Basically, like, we haven't been out on any dates or anything recently. How long do I wait before I feel appreciated?
Look, even the women had to give her that look like You for real? Like this for real? Like
She
you
gotta be
mean that?
trolling.
She gotta be trolling. You know what I'm
Gotta be
saying?
trolling.
So
Some Gen Z 24-year-olds,
man, you know, and that's what this lesson pretty much came from. Me on Twitter scrolling, seeing the video. And this crazy is that's the spirit because even before I seen that video, my topic was going to be the same topic, right? But the video just added to the information that was going to be brought forth. So when you, and this is more of a discussionary type of lesson, right? The thing we want to put into perspective right here is this. She mentioned 3 things that her man was doing for her. She had to go through 2 brain surgeries. He was there with her, he was washing her, and he was overseeing her. You know what I'm saying? So, with him being there while she was going through that, that is one of the things that sometimes gets overlooked by a lot of women because of the way today's society is set up, right? When it comes to relationships. And that's why this title is Romanz, because too many relationships are built off the idea of romance, what romance is, what it means, right? So I gotta let me pull this up, right? So dang, I don't know why it pastes like this. It doesn't look scholarly at all, but I guess I'll just use it because um uh I took a conversation, I took a snippet of a conversation that I had with Chat GPT. I'm trying to share my screen so I can show y'all. So like it real quick. Let me see. Hold on.
Yeah,
It
man.
won't
The
let
brother
me.
has. Oh, you go. You go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, I
I
gonna say
thought
the you said King.
Nah, I was just about to say I thought you was about to pull up a G Unit PowerPoint.
Nah, man. I'm finna pull up a G Unit slide though. Can y'all see this on the screen?
Yeah.
What does it look like? Am I in Word?
Oh no, we can't see nothing. Like we can see the whole Follett background.
Dang. Hold on. I'm trying to pull up my Word. Um,
If it's a picture, you can probably screenshot it to yourself and email it and pull it up that way. I know
yeah,
sometimes it's hard to pull up PowerPoint and Word, even though it got the prompts to do so.
yeah, you're right. So what I'm gonna do is just email it to myself real quick. It shouldn't take but 2 seconds to do this. Boss Ford 98, subject SFS.
What's the name of that show that the clip was from?
Let me go back to it real quick. Let me go back to it.
Yes, the sister with the dark skinned sister with the braids. She be saying she be snapping. She be saying some real stuff.
Should be cooking.
But she be cooking, man. Let her cook. Let her cook. She be cooking. That's in the
Nah,
couple.
that's not the way I want it though. Let me see real quick. So lock in, man. We having technical difficulties, but the name of that show is called Tonight's Conversation, live and uncut. Tonight's Conversation, live and uncut. And what I'm trying to do at the current moment for those who are tuning in, man, we just watched this video twice that I played, but I'm trying to pull up the notes that I had because I thought it was going to pull up in Word. So I'm just trying to, I guess you could say, copy and paste them to send them to myself. So that's what I'm in the process of doing. I can read it, but I wanted to share it with y'all. I wanted to share it with y'all. So let me try it that way. Okay. Let me try it that way. Now let me pull it up in my inbox. Okay, cool. Okay, here we go. Maybe I can get it now. Okay, so let me try now. Here we go. Can y'all see this?
Yeah, can you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah, I can.
Sometimes if you crop the window, it'll.
How about this? Is this good?
Yeah.
Con. So ignore all this on the left hand side, right? the root, right? What I was going into was the word Roman. So the title of this lesson, Romanz, right? Resetting the stage. We just watched the video of this 24-year-old sister saying that her man was great physically, emotionally, and he took care of her when she had 2 brain surgeries, and he stayed with her. He was washing her butt, but now it gets to the point where she's saying she wants to feel appreciated by going out on dates. And she was asking the panel of the show she was at about relationship advice. How long should she wait around until she feels that appreciation? And what we're going into is that a lot of times that's overlooked in relationship, not going on dates, but how a man may show his appreciation for you may be overlooked, right? And that's a product of this society that has created the idea of romanticism. So these are notes that I had with the conversation with, Chat GPT, just about what is romance? Where does it come from? The origin. And this is what it gave me. It says the root, romanus, right? Roman. The root word of the root word of romance is the word romanus, Roman, right? Everything starts with the Latin word romanus, meaning of Rome or Roman. So when we say certain things like, we got to do away with this Roman mindset, right? It's literally going into the understanding of what it means to be romantic, to romanticize things, right? It's literally the root word. The linguistic shift, Romanis. In the late Roman Empire, as Vulgar Latin, the spoken language of the common people, began to diverge from classical Latin, the formal written language, a distinction arose, right? To speak formally was Latine loci, to speak in Latin, right? To speak in the common vernacular tongue was Romanis loci, to speak in the Roman manner or in the vernacular, right? The adverb Romanis from Romanus meant in the Roman vernacular, right? And that's the crucial link. So that's just a little linguistic history, right? Now the birth of Romance languages. So in my notes in my phone, what I'm finna read off of, I'm finna explain some other notes that I pulled when I was researching, the understanding of romance, romanticism, the history of it, right? Um, in short, what I got is that I'm trying to scroll to the part where I actually seen it, how it reads verbatim. So in short, what it was is it was describing that this whole idea of romance wasn't actually what we think of it as today, right? Um, so what I'm saying is, let me read it off of my phone, right? So romance didn't come from one place, right? Even though we just read that the origin of the word is of Rome, right? But romance didn't come from one place. It originated as a specific medieval literary genre. So it was really a literary genre, romance was, right? And focused on chivalric adventure and forbidden love. A lot of times what you go into with the history of where the evolution of romance comes from is that in these literary genres, in these literary works, under the umbrella of romance, right? Just like you have fiction, nonfiction, horror, thriller, scary, comedy, right? Romance was one of those genres, right? And under that umbrella of romance, excuse me, one of the things that was being promoted was forbidden love. So adultery, right? In this example, in my notes, I have here, it says the literary roots, romance, high Middle Ages, right? High Middle Ages, 11th to 12th centuries. The word romance comes from the Old French romance, which is the title of this lesson, meaning in the vernacular tongue, like we just read, right? It referred to popular stories, often in verse, told in everyday language, like we just explained. The genre, right? These romance, as it reads in the title, or Romanz, these romance were tales of adventure, chivalry, and often courtly love, more courteous, right? They featured knights, quests, and fantastical elements. Specifically speaking on the courtly love, though, right? It was adulterous and extramarital. So the history of these literary works go back to people fantasizing about committing adultery, right? The history of these literary works go back to fantasizing about committing infidelity, right? It was often directed toward a merry, unattainable lady of a higher status, a lord's wife. So you see a lot of that. You see a lot of that nowadays with what we identify in this society as sneaky links. Sneaky links. You may be familiar with that term. That was a lot of what romanticism was back then. That's where it derived from. Forbidden love, right? There's also another part of it. Ritualistic and suffering. The night lover, right, served this lady. Matter of fact, instead of reading it to y'all like this is what I'm finna do. I'm finna pull it up on the screen. Let me stop sharing real quick. So that way y'all can follow along, because I feel like he's be doing a disservice just to keep reading it without allowing the viewer to see. Let me
Salakia too. I was gonna say, man, when you think about side pieces and things of that nature, infidelity, when you think about adultery, a lot of times the people that commit those acts, they're masters at romance. They're masters at whining and dining. They know how to, set the mood. They know how to get the flowers. They know how to make you feel special. The women know how to, make you feel like the manly man. And then all of the while, right? They got something on the side. You're not the only one, right? And that's why like from the video we just watched, she don't know that she got a real one. She's waiting to be bamboozled from somebody that knows romance. But a lot of times, women and men, you don't know what you're asking for when you asking for that person that knows how to wine and dine you, because they whining and dining you for a reason. A lot of times it's not love. Go ahead,
It reminds me of that Tyler Perry movie. He got a lot of movies with adultery going on, but the one in particular with
Temptation.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Temptation. Yeah, that's y'all know what I'm talking about. Temptation. So
Well, Harvey, the devil in the red car.
Yep. The whole time she was looking at, man, this man, he romantic, he got money, he got a nice car. Whole time he got AIDS. She looking at her husband like, oh, he forgot my birthday. So you go commit adultery because he forgot your birthday. Well, that's not the only reason in her mind, but she looking at this other man. That's why the saying is the grass ain't always green on the other side. Now she got AIDS. He moved on. She looking crazy.
Right. And that's what happens when you, I guess you could say, romanticize. That's what happens when you romanticize certain things in this life, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not about what your partner. Let me say it this way. When it comes to love, right? We're not saying it's wrong to want to go out on dates with your partner. We're not saying that it's wrong to want to have, you all time. What we're saying is it's wrong to feel as if you're not appreciated because you don't get that time. It's wrong to feel as if because it doesn't come the way you want it to, that you have the right to feel like it's okay to leave this person because he's not treating me the way I feel like it's a woman supposed to be treated in a relationship. Right? There's scriptures. Oh, go ahead. If anybody
I was going to say too, man. And, it's vice versa too. You see a lot of people stepping out of their marriages for people like the movie Temptation, where the guy comes in and he's wooing you, he's doing everything you think your husband's not doing. But then also, man, that's another reason why men step out too, right? It might be during postpartum where she stopped doing whatever for you. You know what I'm saying? You stop getting intimate time with her and all that stuff. And then a woman come into the picture and knows how to give you everything that you want in the moment that you feel like you're not receiving from your spouse too. So romance can work both ways. Men know how to romance, and it's 2026, women definitely know how to romance a man too, right? You know what I'm saying? But the point of it is romance isn't everything, right?
Right. And the biggest thing is understanding that there's ways to communicate that don't require you to leave this person just because you don't feel the appreciation that you should feel, right? Let's go into the Bible real quick before we go back to these notes, right? Let's go into the Bible real quick. Let me share if it'll pull up. There we go. Let me share this tab. So let me go into the Bible, Genesis 2, and let's go and start reading this so we can get through these scriptures, man. Because like I said, it's not a lot of precepts. It's just more conversational than anything, right? Where I want to start at. Okay, let's start at Genesis 2. It's the first precept we'll start. Let's read Genesis 2, starting at verse 15, and let's read through 18. Genesis 2, 15 through 18.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse, you said it's 15? Okay. He said, and the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. And the Lord God said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him.
Right. So the Lord said it's not good that man should be alone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a helpmeet, right? Now, let's read verse number 20.
Verse 20, and Adam gave names to all cattle and to the fowls of the air and to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found an helpmeet for him.
Read through verse 24. Let's read 21 through 24.
And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman and brought her into the man. And Adam said, this is now bones of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
So I'm going to read one more scripture before we go into the next understanding, right? Let's read something else. Proverbs 18 and 22. Proverbs 18 and 22, right? Let's read this right here in Proverbs 18 and 22.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 22. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord.
Right, man. So we read all that and said all that in the beginning just to come here and read these two things. One, a lot of times, there's these conversations about who's the prize in a relationship. Is it the man? Is it the woman? And men could feel like they're the prize. Women could feel like they're the prize. In my mind, I've had mixed feelings and thoughts about this. But as I understand life more, for a man, a woman is the prize. And for a woman, a man is the prize, right? It's different based on who you are. And I'm going to tell you why. Because as a man, right, the Lord has given you a responsibility to tend, to take care, provide for, right? You can't, it makes it easier if you have a woman to help you in those affairs in certain categories, right? So what I'm saying is that there is a certain level of appreciation a man should have for his spouse, for his woman, for his partner, right? There is. However, just because it is not according to the custom of romanticism, as it's understood in today's world does not mean you are not appreciated as a woman, right? Prime example, the sister going back to this video. I'm gonna play it one more time because it's a short video. I can play it. I can play it real quickly. But I'm gonna play it one more time just so that way those who are joining in can get caught up to speed on what video we're speaking of, right? Play this one more time. Fair use.
He's amazing emotionally, physically.
And she's talking about her man.
Earlier this year, I had to have 2 brain surgeries. He stayed with me in the hospitals. He even washed my butt some of the times. But he wasn't working for a couple of months, and I'm 24 now. So I basically feel like I'm just real grown.
So what's your question?
Basically, like, we haven't been out on any dates or anything recently. How long do I wait before I feel appreciated?
Lucky.
Right. Go ahead.
She just said that the man wasn't working for 2 months. And she still expected this man to take her on a date when he wasn't working to make sure she was okay. That's selfish.
Right. You know, it's crazy because the man was doing all of that for her and they're not even necessarily married. And we live in a society where sometimes people feel like the roles of a husband and wife are only limited to after the ring is put on the finger at the altar. And that's not true. You're a wife before you're a wife, and you're a husband before you are a husband. So what we're saying is that those roles and how you fulfill them should be executed before you're actually officially given the title according to the federal government. Before you stand in front of the altar with a beautiful dress on, before you stand in the altar with your 3-piece tux on, right? Your tuxedo on. You got to know that you have to be a husband before you are officially given the title of a husband. That is what makes one desire a husband. The same thing with women. You have to know that you have to be a wife before you're a wife. That's what makes a man want to wife you because you possess those wifely qualities, right? What are some wifely qualities that we can go into in the Bible? Well, I was bringing up Sirach 37. What I'm going to bring up is Sirach 26, right? Sirach 26.
Salakia too, man. You know, another thing too, man, when it comes to especially speaking on the video, in relationships, both men and women, what people fail to do that is detrimental to relationships is retain experiences, right? The sister's talking, going on and on about the good things that he's done, but those things that he's done apparently had an expiration date when it came to appreciation in her mind, right? And a lot of times, men and women, we can overlook something that was done in the past and say, well, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you did that for me back then, but you know, that don't even matter. Now you got to prove it to me again and again and again, right? When, you know, sometimes experiences need to reoccur and stuff like that, but you also still got to hold on to the experiences that have happened, right? That anchor your relationship, that build that foundation of where you even look to this person as the special person that they are, right? A lack of retaining experiences and information, having short-term memory when it comes to your spouse can be detrimental to your relationship.
Right. Retain those moments where your spouse shows appreciation, regardless if they were many moons ago or they were the last moon, right? Because again, in this life, one thing that's coveted by a lot of people is the idea and the fantasization of what romanticism is. And like we went into, which we'll go back over again briefly, all romance originally was literary works. And it really was rooted in adultery and fornication, right? Forbidden love. That's really what romance was. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we went into the linguistic meaning of what romance was, as it's spelled in the title Romanz, of the Roman tongue or of the Roman vernacular, right? But when we're talking about the idea of where the love aspect came from, it came from those literary works, not necessarily from the Romans' literary works per se, but literary works combined from different cultures during the medieval century, medieval period, medieval times. right? But let's read this in Proverbs 31, right? Because what are some wifely qualities that women possess that makes a man want to wife her? Let's read Proverbs 31. Let's start at 10. And we can read 10. We can read 10 through. You know what I'm saying? I'll stop as we go.
It's on me.
Yeah, come.
Proverbs 31.
Yes, sir.
Starting at verse number 10, it says, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil."
So, right, first and foremost, when you're a woman that has these qualities, you're considered a virtuous woman. And you're a woman that has a price tag. And that's not a bad price tag, right? A lot of times you see brothers in the world talking about, women are expensive. And a lot of times women are expensive in the wrong areas. They're expensive to the materialistic aspects of life, but not necessarily in the qualities that money can't buy. Money can't really make a man trust in you, right? And it takes a special kind of woman for a man to really trust, right? A man to really rely on. You know what I'm saying? So that's a quality that money can't buy right there. And it's not necessarily for me to say, when a man should experience this. A man will feel this in his heart, you know what I'm saying, at any given moment of interacting with a woman. It could be when he first meets a woman, or it can be, you know what I'm saying, later on down the line if he's dealt with the woman for a while and he feels like he's proven her and he feels that feeling of I can trust her, But nonetheless, this is a quality that a woman should possess in order for her to be a wife, right? And this is not me going down the timeline of breaking down how a woman should become a wife. This is me breaking down qualities of what makes one a wife and qualities that a man seeks, right? But let's keep reading.
Verse number 12, it says, "She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She is the merchant ships. She bringeth her goods, her food from afar. She rises also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens."
Right. So let's stop right there. She riseth while it is yet night and giveth meat to her household, man. I always tell people one of the reasons why I wanted to marry my wife, who is now my wife, you know what I'm saying? Even though your boy had about 30 girls asking for him at the time, but I said, nah, I'll settle down with you, babe, But the reason why, I love my wife from the moment really we started interacting with each other was because verse 15 was one of those things that I was seeing her do. You know what I'm saying? Like brothers would come, people would come over to her grandmother's house and we would fellowship. But she would be prepping meals late at night on before the Sabbath, you know what I'm saying, to make sure everybody had food to eat on the Sabbath, right? She would wake up early in the morning, you know what I'm saying, that next day, and prep meals or prep dinner, you know what I'm saying, for the week, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. And when I see my wife doing that, not only did it show a lot of hospitality to me, I'm big on that, being hospitable, but it also showed this verse right here, like that's a quality that a lot of women don't possess, and it's often overlooked. So what we're getting into is not, again, going down the rabbit hole of, being a wife, being a mother. We got plenty of videos on that. We're going down this rabbit hole because, again, these are qualities that women possess that makes men desire them. And that's why, in a man's eyes, a woman should be the prize, right? A man could feel like, hey, I'm at the end of the day, I'm the end all be all. You know what I'm saying? And that could be true in certain instances, but we can see in certain instances where, like we read in Proverbs 18:22, the Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, And we know that women, when it comes to men, they should want to be married to men. Matter of fact, men are the prize in women's eyes, right? So all of this is going into the topic of understanding romanticism. A lot of times we glorify in speaking on women's terms, right? And I'm not the spokesperson for women, right? But I'm just speaking on what I may see a lot of on social media. A lot of times women glorify being taken care of, having a man that does X, Y, and Z, having a man that does this, that, and the third, right? But how often do women go and read Proverbs 31 to see if they check any of these boxes? You want to go on a date, you want your man to take you out, but you don't give him a safe space to be comforted, right? Your man can't come and talk to you if he had a hard day. Your man really can't trust you. You know what I'm saying? Your man can't rely on you. You know what I'm saying? And you're not necessarily somebody that if your man says, hey, babe, even though it's 4:00 in the morning, may I have a sandwich, please? You're not the type of women to get up and make him a sandwich. You the type to say, boy, don't you got 2 feet? Don't you got 2 hands? Go make it work.
Can't even get a back massage.
Ain't get a back massage. Can't even get a little booty do if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are qualities, man, that, you know, as a man, men literally tend to wife women who have those. And if you don't have those, you tend to become in the category where the harlots lie. You know what I'm saying? So all in all, what I'm reflecting on is that when it comes to dealing with women, when it comes to understanding the world as men, you got to know which women you're looking for. And if I'm the brother that's seen, I'm going to share it one more time, share the screen one more time. If I'm the brother that's seen this sister, if I'm the brother that's seen this sister and I'm dating her, I ain't going to lie. After this, I'll probably slide. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest, I'll probably be up out of there. You know, I done watched your behind. What mattered more while you was in the hospital, I done took care of you. I done been out of work to take care of you. And now you telling me you don't feel appreciated because we ain't went to damn steakhouse? Come on, man.
So
that probably was wrong with her, man. She did have brain surgery, man. Something might be, you know what I'm saying? It might have messed something up in there, man.
You know, a lot of times what that be is too comparison, right? She may have a bunch of girlfriends that didn't have surgery, whose boyfriends did not have to wash them off and make sure they had their medicine and was there every day. She was looking at them and was like, man, they going to Roof Chris. Dang, she went to Hibachi. Dang, he took her to the theme park. Man, my boyfriend ain't take me nowhere. Right. So a lot of times it comes from comparison. And to be honest with you, like verse dang, he just where it says his heart does
his heart don't safely trust in her.
Yeah, trust
right
in her. Right.
Verse 11.
Verse 11. You know, to be honest with you, I'm willing to believe he don't even know she feeling this way. Right. She came to the show and said everything on the show, but she could be internalizing this and just walking around the house like he don't even take me on no date. And then when she leave him out of nowhere, he gonna be like, man, I did all this stuff. Why you leaving me now? What did I do wrong? Whole time in her head, he wasn't doing enough. Right. So you can't even safely trust in somebody that keeps their emotions away from you and their feelings and their thoughts away from you, because you can't even rectify it. You know, to even you don't even stand a chance.
And you know the crazy part is, man, she done embarrassed this man by, you know, getting on this show. And 9 times out of 10, they're probably gonna end after he sees this. And then you know, it's just making it harder for the next girl that he gonna be with, because she gonna see this, think she getting him getting her a genuine guy. But the standard's gonna be high now. Now she gonna be expecting him to wipe her butt. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And you know, things get messy when you deal with certain stuff like this because of not examining what somebody does for you and putting it in the right compartments. I know we talk about this all the time, compartmentalizing, right? But you know, and I will say this, and I was struggling to say this or not say this, but I think it's fitting, right? Sometimes men do big acts like the brother did, right? Where he was for her in the hospital and stuff like that. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but sometimes after you do something that was that notable, sometimes brothers fall back and be like, surely she knows I appreciate her. I don't have to go above and beyond. Sometimes brothers do that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes sisters do that. You know what
As
I'm
they
saying?
should. I mean, like once you done put it all on the line, it's like, bro, I shouldn't have to prove nothing to you. If anything, you should be taking me on a date. You know what I'm saying? As the woman, you should be taking me on a date, right? I done did all that. I should come home. I should come home one day and you like, let's get in the car. We going somewhere. I'm like, oh, I'm surprised. You know, that's how it should be. And shout out to my rib. She took me on a date today. You feel me? Paid for it for me. You feel me? It should be like that. It should be like that, man.
You gotta think about it, bro.
We live in a day now where you can jump in front of a bullet for your partner, and it'll be forgotten 2 months down the line. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta think how many Gen Z, you know, brothers like to say the word Gen Z. How many Gen Z brothers you know is gonna really stick by a woman, you know, that having a brain tumor? He gotta literally wash her butt. I was with this when I was in high school. It was this white couple. They was together for 2 years. They was together for about 3 years. They was like together for a while. Next thing you know, his girl kind of had to get a brain tumor. You know, she ended up in a wheelchair. Bruh got out. Brother, he left her, bruh. Like he left her. So it's like that's very bro. He got out of there, bruh. I'm like, bro, that's wrong, bro.
In high school though?
High school, bro.
Yeah, I would have got out of there too.
That's
madness, bro.
That's madness, bro.
In high school, I'm like, I ain't gonna lie. It's my flesh. But
3 years, bro.
If I'm in high school, I'm like, I got the whole rest of my life.
Man. After 3 years, though, I ain't gonna lie.
3 years, bro.
You gonna have to be bro.
He wasn't willing to put the work in. He wasn't willing to have to push her in the wheelchair and may have to clean her butt. But this brother in the video, he was willing to do it for this sister, and yet she still don't feel appreciated by that.
Man, and you know what's crazy? It's a lot of women that think like her too. You know, and I'm not, and it's not our women. I know our women don't think like that, because you know the Lord blessed us with some women who have good minds. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, what we're trying to do is kill the idea of romanticism, what it really is. Right? Let me go back to this. Let's read this real quick in Exodus 20, and then we'll go back to the notes real quick. Let's read this.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
The reason I wanted the brother to read this is because he brought out the point of comparison. Man, comparison is the thief of joy. And a lot of times social media makes you compare your relationship to others. The Scots, that light-skinned couple, are a great example of why you shouldn't compare your relationship to anybody else's. They going through a divorce, right? And I don't even get into all that social media relationship stuff, them social media couples and stuff like that. But the reason I'm saying that is because I know there's a lot of people in the world that coveted their love when they were posting those videos and stuff. And sometimes social media gives you a false sense of reality, like everything is perfect, when in reality it ain't. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do a good job of censoring what you see, because when you start seeing a man take his girl out on a date, you as a woman may see that and say, this nigga ain't took me out on a date and I don't know when. You know what I'm saying? You may start resenting your husband for that. Or you may be a man and you see a girl, you know what I'm saying? She got dinner ready for her husband when he get through the door, and you've been begging your girl to do that. Now you like, maybe I just need to go find me a new girl, bro. Nah, man, you know, you got to stop comparing, right? You got to play to your partner's strengths. And the areas where they weak, you got to do a good job of building it up. But go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, to your point, you know, people get caught up with the smoke screens, man. I'm sure people saw the Scott's family, and there was probably some girls out there, some women out there. Man, I wish I had breakfast in bed. Man, I wish my husband could cook for me. And then when everything blow up, now your man looking at you like, I bet you wish you had a brother that would cheat on you too now, huh? You know what I'm saying?
Bringing your breakfast on the couch, huh?
Right. And he cheating on you too. But and so it's all the smoke. A lot of people get caught up by the smoke mirrors of social media and all of that. Even when you watch movies and TV shows, right? You might be watching a good TV show or movie with your significant other, and you know somebody do something on the show, and you know your significant other saying, "Man, I wish I could get that. Wish I could get treated like that." And you keep watching the movie or the show, and the dude, you know, he do some foul stuff to her. Then you kind of looking at your girl sideways, like you still want that. You know what I'm saying? So just to piggyback or let me back on your point, everything ain't what it appears to be. And to let me back on Azrael's point in the beginning of the lesson is a lot of times the people that are doing those things, right, are the ones that are into things that they shouldn't be, right? Sometimes, not all the time. You got some lovey-dovey brothers out there. You know, if that's you, kudos to you. But a lot of times, more times than none, if they're doing that, a lot of times it's overcompensation for something else.
Yeah,
right?
you got them brothers. You got them brothers that's like, you know, I don't want to call them
Bro, I
simps.
know you're not gonna play that clip, bro.
You know, I'm not gonna call them
Let the brother
simps.
finish his point, bro.
I know I'm not gonna call them simps, but you know, you got them brothers that's like, man, you got to do better as a man, man. You know, that was yesterday, bro. You got to be present for your woman every day, bro.
Oh man, bro.
Hey, bro, that was yesterday. You gotta, man. That don't even matter, man. What does your girl need from you today, bro?
Oh
You know,
man.
you have brothers like that. You know what I'm saying? But like I would I'll lay me back off of these two brothers, what they was talking about with comparison, man. You know, the thing about comparison is, for example, I had it's a high school brother that I know that he sent something in the chat, right, on Instagram. And he sent something to a high school chat, and he said, "Man, some brothers are just lucky." He sent this girl, right? And I'm like, bro, you don't know if that girl raising hell in that brother house or not. You just thinking she pretty, bro. Thinking he lucky. You don't know, like, bro. You cannot judge a book by a cover. You know, like the brother Isaiah just said, you don't know what's going on in people's houses, bro. A picture is very deceiving. But
a lot of them pretty ones be the crazy ones.
Yeah, and the ones that you know. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. Go ahead.
You know.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to see what that be like right there. Look, be that.
Look, man, you know, like Mike Epps, man, he said, I'm trying to see what that be like, you know. Like, yeah, that's no comparison, man. You gotta stop comparison. That's why, oh dang, I didn't mean to stop sharing screen. But that's why you gotta stop doing exactly what Exodus 20 says. I mean, that's why you have to start doing exactly what Exodus 20 and 17 says and stop comparing your life. Because you start comparing your life, you start comparing what people did historically, and that's when you get this whole generation of people that don't know really how to treat their spouse, treat their significant other, treat their partner, because you're too busy. Well, Darren down the street just bought Keisha a new Lambo. You ain't got me no Lambo. Oh. You know, Janisha down the street, shoot, she just bought Darren tickets to the Falcons game. I ain't got no tickets to the Falcons game. You ain't no good woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how discourse builds up in the household, man. And you gotta appreciate what your spouse does well, what your partner does well, and you gotta appreciate the things they do for you. And even if it's been a while, don't sit up here and be contemplating leaving them because they haven't. Check in with your partner, see what's going on, man. Go ahead, O.
And I think the main thing really too, it be the music. A lot of our women be listening, a lot of men be listening to this music, man. You know, they saying, oh, he gotta, you know, or they listen to these rappers. These rappers saying, oh, if he ain't buying you so and so, you know, you need to move on. Or the woman saying, you know, if he ain't buying you this Birkin bag, or he don't love you for real. So now our women and men, they hearing these things and they actually trying to mimic what they hearing these artists saying in their life. You know, so they basing their emotions off what these rappers saying.
Yeah. Put you in a Benz no note.
Dang, man. I was trying to play this audio. Let me see. I don't want to share the screen because I don't want the folly of the audio to play. I do want to play the audio.
In all seriousness, too, though, man, understand that this is not just one sided, man. It happens both ways, right?
Yeah.
For men too. A lot of times men get stuck in that too of, and the brother Azrael kind of hinted at it too, but like, to get into like what you wish you would have had and stuff like that. Some brothers, when you get married, man, you start having kids, postpartum is a real thing. And a lot of brothers get caught up in that season, man, and get caught up without certain things, man. They can't withstand the season. And a lot of brothers seek that appreciation, that validation, that release elsewhere, right? Not remembering and not retaining the experiences they had with their wife before postpartum, that she is the one for them. She's got to make it through this season to get back on track. And a lot of brothers get out of their spirit in that wise too, right? And fall victim to women that are romanticizing them, whether that be through social media or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So be mindful. This stuff can happen both ways.
Hey, facts. Fair use.
Privacy on the door, I'm gonna make this shit work.
Watch it for the lady.
A rich nigga, 8-figure, that's my type.
Boom. There it is. Like the brother said, it be in the songs. That's sweetie. You know what I'm saying? Rich brother, 8 figures, that's my type. You know what I'm saying? It be in the lyrics, bro. It be in the lyrics, And a lot of times what I'm saying, Sluggy, let me get out of this. We don't need to share this no more. But what I'm saying is that, a lot of our music is conditioning people to think a certain way, like the brother said, I seen a post about Megan. As a matter of fact, I shared it on my Twitter. And I said, I'm happy that you see Megan Thee Stallion in the house put up cooking for Klay Thompson, because a lot of her music was glorifying not doing that type of stuff for a man. A lot of her music was glorifying doing the complete opposite, being a hot girl. You know what I'm saying? Klay Thompson need to be at home cooking the dinner, and when I get home, it need to be ready. You know what I'm saying? But she has done kind of like a 180 in a sense. I desire that for all women, even though we got sisters in the world who make that music. My heart's desire and prayer is not that the Lord smite them. You know what I'm saying? My heart's desire and prayer is that they can repent and experience what it's like to have, a relationship led by the Most High, because at the end of the day, every man and woman should be able to experience that in life. That should be something that you want to experience. I'm not going to say everybody deserves it, because some people don't. Like the Bible says in Sirach, a wicked woman is given to a portion of a wicked man. So if you out here living a wicked lifestyle, I don't think you deserve a good woman, because you may do damage to that woman. Just like if you're a brother and you out here living, if you're a sister, you out here living wickedly. Hey, sometimes your judgment is being given unto a man that may put you through hell and high waters. You see what I'm saying? It works like a ring with the Most High God. But this is a lot of the information I was reading off earlier on my phone, man. We already talked about the Roman vernacular, but let's read this, right? The Roman idea of love. A lot of where people get this idea of what romanticism is, man. And like we talked about, they necessarily weren't Roman ideas, right? They just came from the literary work of what romance was. But still, nonetheless, it's of Roman descent. So the Roman idea of love, for Romans, love could be passionate, but it was generally viewed as more worldly, sensual, and sometimes disruptive force, right? Marriage was a social and political institution centered on fidelity, partnership, and producing heirs, right? Virgil's Aeneid famously showed the hero Aeneas abandoning his love for Dido for his higher duty to found Rome. So this is just proving the point that even the Romans necessarily didn't view love as it's viewed today, right? Because they still had a devout, I guess you could say, mindset for their gods and their positions and their service, right? But again, a lot of these Roman works, a lot of these romantic works comes from the idea of chivalry, courtly love, and adulterous passion. adulterous passion. So when you talk about being romantic, my wife used that word the other day, and I quickly corrected her. I said, I'm not romantic because one, I'm not a Roman. Now I said that in ignorance because when you look up what romance is and romanticism and where it really comes from, it's not necessarily started by the Romans. So, but I was saying that because sometimes in life, when it comes to romanticism, a lot of women desire that from their husband, but don't know the origin of where it came from, don't know what it was originally meant for. And I'm the type of Israelite to say we can't just be Israelites for convenience. And what I mean by that is the same way we view holidays in this world when it comes to the Most High God's laws and his holy days, in the same way we should view anything that is of pagan descent, right? So the same way we say we shouldn't celebrate Christmas because it's pagan, same way we say we shouldn't celebrate birthdays because it's pagan. It's the same way we got to stop fantasizing about romanticism. I'm not saying you can't take your husband on a date. I'm not saying you can't take your wife on a date. I'm not saying you can't buy your wife flowers or do anything nice for your wife, vice versa, your husband. What I am saying is the idea of romanticism messes up relationships because people overlook acts like this brother did for this woman right here, all for some dates. Some dates that you're gonna be on for about 2-3 hours. You're gonna put on some good clothes and go have a good time, right? But the minute he do something you don't like, you forget about that. And that's the type of stuff that we got to kill down is the spirit of being romanticized, right? Because one, it was all about a man serving a woman. And we know that biblically, like we read in the beginning, it was not so that it was that way, right? Women were to be the help meets for the men, right? Let's read this in 1 Corinthians 11. I'm finna go on a little, not soliloquy, but I'm not finna go on no soliloquy, but let's read this in 1 Corinthians 11:3 real quick.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse number 3. It says, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man."
The head of the woman is who?
Is the man.
Nah, the woman isn't head of the man.
And the head of the woman is the man.
Hey, look, sometimes again, you got to remember where these things come from, man. Romance, it was a literary work. What you see in the title, the way it's spelled, it's of the Roman vernacular. And really, the idea of romance came from the idea of a man serving a woman, having a sneaky link, having a partner, like the brother said, having a side piece as a woman back then. And that was wrong. And as a knight in that literary work, that was desire. It was desire for you to be able to, hey, I'm going to take the king's wife. Hey, that's madness. According to the Lord, we can't commit adultery. That's Leviticus 20:10. Matter of fact, it was in the same book of Exodus, the same chapter 20 that we read earlier, even though we only read verse 17. There are certain reasons why, as a woman, you should want to kill that spirit of being romantic. You shouldn't even want to label your man romantic because it's not who you should want him to be. You shouldn't want him to be anything that the Lord, it doesn't align directly with the Lord. Again, nothing wrong with going on dates, nothing wrong with doing nice things, nice gestures, but let's kill the idea of feeling like, as a man, my job is to make my wife happy. Happy wife, happy life. No. Your job as a man is to lead your wife to the path of righteousness for the sake of the Lord, for his name's sake, right? And your job as a woman is to help your husband in his endeavors of leading y'all down the path of righteousness. And that's all it's about, right? But you can finish this out, Denal.
God, and the head of Christ is God.
Even the most coveted man on the earth, Jesus Christ, has a leader, and his leader is his father, who happens to be the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? He submits to somebody. And I'm going to just be honest with you. We got to do a better job of submitting ourselves one to another in the fear of the Lord. Why? Because when we do that, we'll eliminate a lot of what the world tells us we should feel. If my husband explains to me, hey, well, hold on, let me use a different example because I'm a man. If my wife explains to me, hey, uh, I don't like when you smack my butt when you walk by because it hurts, right? Y'all laughing, but hey, that's real. Every man does this, bro. That's scientific. I watched the video the other day. It's actually a science behind a man smacking his wife on the butt when he walks by. You know what I'm saying? When he sees her. Women, if your man does that, don't get mad. It's the man, it's the human version of a man marking his territory. Just like
I
when you
was
see dogs.
I was looking at you, brother, because of what you said before that, brother.
But what I said before that. Oh, the man. Oh, yeah, my husband. Yeah, I'm tripping, bro. Too many Casamigo, man. You know what I'm saying?
Not
But
enough
nah, bro.
top G energy.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's madness, bro. That's madness, bro. But nah, I was saying that it's actually a science behind why a man smacks his woman's butt. Come on, bro. You know what I'm trying to say, bro. It's a science behind why a man smacks his woman on the behind, bro. And it's like when a dog pees and they mark their territory, that's what it does for a man. Because a lot of men's love is rooted in being able to touch their women physically. You know what I'm saying? And what it does for as a man is it's like an instant connection for men. You know what I'm saying? It's a form of not only trust, and it serves as a space of comfort for a man, but also it's the man letting the women know that hey, I love you, hey, I adore you, hey, I admire you, or hey, I'm acknowledging you. Right? A lot of women act like they feel unheard or undesired or unwanted, but something simple as a little slap on the butt is really a man letting you know he's reassuring you of all those things. I love you, you're desired, I want you. It's a science behind it, and I'll drop the video uh, in the chat that I'm in with the brothers and in family, so that way people don't think I'm crazy. But Con, we just got to do away with a lot of the ideas of what this world has for us, because again, let me go back to the Bible. We got one more precept we'll read. So right. Let me just read. We got one more precept. Nah, this ain't the one though. Well, this ain't the one. Nah, I thought I had the right. Dang, this ain't the one. Or was I in the wrong chapter? Hold on, let me see. Sirach 26.
And what that sister said on that post, she was like, if you're 30 years old, your love language can't be physical touch. You need to be touching that money.
Hey, man.
You need to be touching some paper.
Right, bro. Come on, bro. Look.
Man. Gen Z women, bro.
A rich nigga, 8-figure, that's my type.
That's all women do when they say stuff like that, bro. That's all they think about is a man with money, and that's a bad a way to view what you want in a man as a woman, right? This is where I was going to go. So like,
Yeah, you could desire all that in a man, but that don't mean that man ain't gonna give you a black eye every 2 months.
Right.
Yes, indeed. That's real indeed.
We read this the other day, but let's read it again, man. So right, 37 and 12.
So right, 37 and 12. But be continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry.
As a woman, you should want to be with a godly man, and it was a godly man to sit up here and endure with you while you was in the hospital laid up and you was boo-booing on yourself, and he had to help change you, wipe you, look over you, lay out a work for you. That's a godly man. And you shouldn't take advantage of that sister right here. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of sisters that look just like this, right? I'm not talking about ugly, so let's not say that. I'm talking about spiritually, they look just like this. A lot of sisters look in the mirror and they see this girl right here, but they don't really know it, because in this world, we're taught that everything a man is supposed to do is supposed to be for serving the woman. No, the man is supposed to serve the Lord, he's supposed to lead his woman in serving the Lord, right? But again, there's nothing wrong with, as a man, doing things for your wife. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with, as a man, tending and caring and being emotionally there for your wife, like this brother was for her, and she wasn't even his wife. So it's one of those things that, you know, we got to get out the idea of what romance is, romanticism. We got to kind of kill that spirit, because at the end of the day, it destroys relationships more than it helps. You got something, Saucy O?
Yeah, can you pull up something real quick? Can you go to like Summer Walker Finally Over It album cover picture? Because they're just going into how, you know, like we were talking about how you have a lot of women, you know, they just get with these men because they got money, and a lot of women nowadays they get with these older men. Like we was in Macon, we was having camp. I don't know if y'all brothers seen it, but me and Brooke had seen it. This was like probably like 2 months ago. And a sister got a car with this old white dude, bro. Like she was young, she had to be around my age, and she got the car with this old white dude. He had a sports car, and he kind of put his hand around her, and was walking with her like they finna go on a date. And I'm like, a lot that's popular nowadays. Women get with these older men that got money, you know, and be with them, and you know, he give her money and stuff like that, and buy a car. And I seen this album cover, I was like, this is the example of how they pushing this. They pushing this amongst our women. You know, just get these older men. He got a bag, go in and get with him. Let's see that picture right there. Look at the picture. It's finally over. She got a wedding dress on, and she look like she marrying that old white nasty man in that wheelchair right there. And they're making that popular, man. You know. But I just want to show that, man. I just want to show that picture there. When I seen it, I was like, bro, ain't no way, bro.
They be like, man, he finna die soon, and he got a life insurance policy, and he included me in his will, and I'm gonna have generational wealth. So it be, man, you know, I ain't gonna lie, man. Eve has turned into a monster. Eve has turned into a monster, and you know, also too, it's monstrous men out there as well. Like the last precept we just read, saying to find a man that will sorrow with you when you miscarry. Quick example, right? When I was in college, I'm just letting the women know that may stumble across this video how some men think. When I was in college, I had a wouldn't call him a friend. Back then, I used to call him a brother. If you know, you know. But he came up to me, and you know, he used to wine and dine this girl that he was dating, and you know, he used to always go on dates and stuff. And he came to me and was like, "Q," I mean, he was like, bruh. He was like, "Bruh, I think she's pregnant." Right? So he was going through it, right? He was going through it. When she miscarried, this man showed up. This man showed up to the house. If you know, you know. He showed up to the house, telling everybody, "Hey, let's pull up." He wasn't sorrowing with her. He was celebrating that she miscarried, bro. Let's pull up. Hey, who trying to go to the liquor store with me? I'm buying 2 bottles. Because he had a miscarriage, man.
That's a demon.
He lost a kid, man. So, you know, there's monstrous men out there too. So when you got to put all these things in question when you are weighing in the balance who you're with, whether you're a man or a female, right? And you got to understand it's deeper than just enjoying the pleasures of life. You didn't get committed to enjoy the pleasures of life. You got committed, right, to be committed to that person, good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah, man. You know, you got to do away with this ideology of thinking like, even, you know, when it comes to the understanding of why women marry older, people are going to make and find every reason in the world why a woman wants an older man for this reason or that reason. You know, one of the sisters said that, you know, a lot of women marry older men for emotional support. You know, it's one of those things like, I'm like, you know, at the end of the day, it's not necessarily the gist of why Summer Walker did it or why any woman that you can clearly see there's a secret agenda behind it does it. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, you know, whatever the reason may be, if it's rooted in money or emotional support, those are still two things that we talked about that are rooted in romanticism that are not necessarily conducive for how an actual relationship should be. It should be based on, you know. If you feel like you gotta marry somebody that's super old just because you feel like a younger man doesn't understand you, then sometimes I think that you would just be better off single and look within yourself first. You know what I'm saying? But hey, who's to say who am I to say that? You know, we just brothers on the screen that teach the Bible. You know, our word ain't for good for nothing. You know, we held in no regard, man. We just come to share what we feel. Most high willing people are edified in the process thereof. And if not, you know, most high willing, there's somebody in the world that can give you the same message, but deliver it in a way that's more receivable, you know. But I ain't got nothing else. Brothers got anything else to add?
I'll say mighty lesson, man. You know, I got one last example. When I was when I was in college again, it was a girl that was a friend of mine, and she was telling me, you know, Austin, I don't see myself, you know, dating anybody younger anymore, anybody my age. Once I've been with an older man, you know, it's just been different. The way he touches me is softer. The way he deals with me is softer, and you know that's what she was telling me. But you know, in my mind, I was like, yeah, okay, but he still cheated on you though. I'm like, yeah, he still cheated on you though. So I mean, the soft touch that mean a lot until it don't. You know what I'm saying? So you know, it's a good lesson in the fact of, man, you just gotta really put your emotions aside and look at everything objectively and look at everything spiritually as well, and understand, kind of like what the brother Denal said earlier, right? Don't let certain pleasures of this life control you, whether that be sexual, financial, whether it be experiences. Don't let it control you, man. This life that we're living right now is deeper than that. Salvation is deeper than that. Become.
Yeah, don't let no experience control you, man. You know, one bad apple, even though there's a saying that talks about one bad apple spoils the whole tree, and it does, don't get me wrong, as a nation, we can be judged by the actions of one person. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, there was instances where one person did something and the Lord had mercy on us, like when the man gathered sticks on the Sabbath, right? But as collective, we begin to start learning how not to loop everybody in the same category, will be better off. Meaning that just because as a woman, you know, you have a bad experience with a man around your age, don't just assume now all men around your age are just not quality men. And now you're going to get older because you feel like they're more mature. That's it's kind of insane to me. You know what I'm saying? And if you're gonna get a little older man, don't go get with no finna kick the bucket white man. You know what I'm saying? Because there's clearly a stereotype when it comes to younger women and older men. And I'm not talking about older men like you 40. I'm talking about older men like we seen with Summer Walker on her album cover. You know what I'm saying? You in your late 70s and you dating a girl that's 20, 25, 30. You know what I'm saying? Just a stereotype out there. So all I'm saying is that you got to do a better job as a woman of not looping your spouse or your partner in the same category as men who may not truly care about their wives just because he doesn't take you on a date. There's some men who don't do it because they truly don't love their partner. Some men don't do it just because they don't feel that that's how they show their appreciation to you. And if that be the case, it always boils back to communication. We got to communicate better with our spouses and partners to know what it is that you want so we can provide what it is that you really need. But know how to separate your needs from your wants. A lot of times we can't do that as men and women, but we really have to truly separate our needs from our wants. Just because you want to do this doesn't mean that if you don't get it, now it's the end of the world. But if your partner is giving you exactly what you need, sometimes you got to throw them wants out the window because you should always want what you need, right? You should always want what you need. Deion Sanders said that a few years ago at Jackson State. It didn't make sense then, but it makes sense now. So, calm, man. With that being said, been on here for almost an hour and 20. All praise to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We'll be back on Tuesday with the brother Denal, man, coming at you with a 360 wave special, showing you how to get the waves by brushing in the shower and stuff. Yeah, but All praise to the Most High willing you edified, and we say shalom. Oh, if you're not gathering, guess what you're doing?
Scattering.